The story of Becky Lynch is one of determination. It also tells us to never give up on your dreams. Despite the hardships early on and the fact that she left the industry for 6 years, Becky would still find her way to WWE despite all the craziness. Today, she is by far the most popular star in the company, both men and women. In this video, we'll take a look at some of her edgy pics from back in the day. We'll also feature photos from her past like prior relationships and other moments her current man would probably wish we didn't see. Enjoy the video, subscribe, and like always be sure to share it with a friend. Without further ado, let's get started. 17 Edgy Photoshoots. Before she joined WWE, Becky took part in some steamy photoshoots. This one, in particular, took place for a company called Ring Divas. It was a side of Becky we have never seen before and the most revealing shoot from her entire career. No doubt Seth would rather we didn't see. 16 Candid Camera. We see a lot of these pics, taken by fans. This one gets our blood boiling, featuring Becky Lynch and some jaw-dropping leather fans. We're not sure if that fan intended to take this picture due to a certain asset, nonetheless, everyone but Seth is happy about it. 15 Double Date. She dated prior to Seth Rollins and took part in some serious relationships. One of them was with a UFC star, Luke Sanders. The two clearly enjoyed their time together, usually smiling from ear to ear in photos. Luke was also backstage at WWE events on a few occasions. Details as to why they ended things are still quite sketchy, but we'll have more details later. 14 Throwback Selfie. At this point, Becky was still considered young blood, making her presence felt with NXT. A spot with WWE seemed highly unlikely at one point in time, but thankfully, Becky didn't give up on her dreams despite a lengthy hiatus from the wrestling business. At the very least, she was always in tip-top shape. 13 Irish Jig Dancer. Everyone has to start somewhere. Even the greatest of all time started off with some questionable gimmicks. Just ask Rocky Maivia and a slew of other WWE stars. Becky is certainly part of that class, starting off with a stereotype gimmick as an Irish jig dancer. Somehow, despite the silliness of it all, she made it work and come together. 12 Getting started. At this point, she was just getting started. We can't imagine Lynch rocking similar gear today, not even for a photoshoot. Becky was all over the place at that point in her career, earning her stripes on the indie scene. She would also spend lots of time in Canada, improving on her craft, gradually. 11 A Flat Check. Lynch has some stunning selfies, especially from her days with NXT. Her schedule was a lot tamer at the time, especially given that everything was in the same place out in Florida. She takes a funny selfie above, but most of us are just drooling over those shredded abdominals. 10 Another relationship. Prior to Seth Rollins, Lynch dated comedian Jeff Dye. Heck, when Seth and Becky revealed their relationship, lots of fans weren't even aware that Lynch and Dye had split. It was an underrated separation, to say the least. During their time together, they had some PDA moments. Those are the types of pics Rollins wants no part of. 9 Bikini Shoot. WWE has changed significantly from what it used to be. Back in the early 2000s, it seemed as though there was a stunning divas photoshoot at least once a month. That usually consisted of water and some revealing bikinis. Nowadays, it is really few and far between. So with that in mind, let's appreciate this stunning pic. Sorry Seth. 8 With Finn. Okay, we're stirring things up a little and with little evidence. In truth, their relationship was strictly as friends. Lynch got her first training alongside Balor. Who could have predicted that the two would become big-time players for WWE decades later? Perhaps Seth might be a little envious of their closeness, or perhaps we're reaching a little. 7 Leaving wrestling. She left wrestling at this point, opting for more consistency in her life. Becky's mom had enough of all the injuries piling up. Lynch needed to leave the business for a bit, that turned into a 6-year hiatus. Thankfully, she followed her heart and returned. The comeback would lead her to NXT. 6 Vikings. Back in 2013, just prior to NXT, Lynch took part in some stunts on the show Vikings. We're thankful that she opted to leave and pursue the WWE. It could have been a real different ball game had Lynch decided to stay. There would no man on top of the WWE mountain. That would be a shame. 5. Edgy shoot. These are the kinds of photo shoots Seth Rollins might want us to scroll over. The pics show Lynch during a sweaty workout, one we really don't want to see end. Like Rollins, Lynch loves a CrossFit style of training, lifting the big weights on the compound lifts like the squat. 4. More ring diva. She has come a very long way since this photo. This has to be her edgiest photoshoot looking back. A lot of the pics feature Lynch in lingerie, the same type of outfits only Seth Rollins gets to see behind closed doors. We'll have to settle for pics taken years and years ago. You're a lucky man, Seth. 3. More with Sanders. Luke would finally open up, discussing the split. Here's what he told Wrestle Talk. Everything was cool. It was just mostly family stuff, man. With my daughter, you know, me taking her on full-time at the end of the year after the last fight. Being the father and, you know, the mom role all at once. That took a lot of energy. She, Lynch, travels a lot, does a lot of extracurriculum activities, so I'm putting in that energy with her, Sanders' daughter, and really putting my all into that. It was my opportunity to do that. I want her to know that I got her. Forever and ever. 2. Candid camera. Again. Once again, the intent of this picture is unclear. Was the fan just trying to take a picture of Becky, or was he going for a little more, if you know what we mean? Hopefully, Seth doesn't cause, or else that'll lead to a curb stomp out of nowhere, like an RKO. 1. Malfunction. This malfunction took place at the Rumble against Asuka. It is inevitable and happens to most WWE female, even the males at times, just ask AJ Styles. This one is a lot tamer in comparison to some of the others, as Lynch inched out of her wardrobe.